can you share a story, like one of the more fucked up stories of your dancing career? Because I think a lot of people that are streaming, especially women, they do get offered kind of adult entertainment jobs a lot, and I think a lot of people will be watching these interviews that are looking to go into streaming, and they could probably get a lot of guidance from these. So, is there something like I just want people to be prepared for what they may get into if they choose to go into adult entertainment?
Absolutely. And I'll be totally honest about it. I had a lot of friends who were like cam girls, and I always refused to do that. Like I said, I was always kind of like anonymous on the internet. I didn't really like my privacy to be exploited too much. I was really against ever doing something like streaming. Um, but I ended up doing it anyways. I think it's exploitative. I think it can feel empowering when you make that money, but I think at the end of the day, it's like it's not your money really. You're just kind of banking on the charity of others. That's kind of how I look at it. Or, you know, if somebody wants to exploit you, they're going to pay you to do it, which is just so backwards. I did a couple of videos in my very early 20s when I was out here because I had surgery and I had rent coming up and I had a roommate dip out on me. So I was supposed to make like $2,000 in like 2 weeks. I don't know where else you can get that besides porn. But I heavily regretted it. It was terribly traumatizing. And I personally would recommend small business for any girl that thinks she should get into the sex industry at all. I think streaming's just as exploitative in its own way too, and I used to say that to Baked Alaska a lot actually. But it's actually quite similar. You have aliases, you have like fake names, you have personalities, I guess, if you will. So I always kind of drew a parallel between the two of them, but at the end of the day, I think they're both pretty exploitative, and I would not want my daughter to get involved in anything like that.
Okay, so you're online. You're still pretty private. It sounds like you got into politics at some point. When did that happen?
Okay, I was a Bernie Sanders girl initially, and then I kind of started to have my eyes opened up to a lot of things with Trump, and I became a Trump girl. Um, I really started to fight. I'm not really. I would say like my ideologies are more Republican, but I really don't trust the system at all. So I started to notice a lot of things that were going on in the media. I started to notice like a lot of things that were going on in Scottsdale specifically because we're a very small business oriented area. And then when 2020 hit, I was in a gun group with Ann Coulter's niece. I don't know if you know who Kim Coulter is, but
Yeah.
I was in a group with her, and then we had a falling out because she's crazy, but very entitled, spoiled brat. And it didn't mesh with my personality at all. But we did have a lot of fun
Mm.
making our gun group, and we had like a whole big, we had actually, some of these Proud Boys are now in federal prison. We did interviews with them, and man, that was crazy. I totally forgot about that. And then basically, like me and Baked Alaska bonded over our hatred of Kim, and I was out here and he was out here, and that's how we kind of connected. And then I just started going to rallies and interviews, and I just wanted to see what people had to say. What I came to conclude was there's a lot of voices that were just being suppressed by the media, a lot of opinions, a lot of like life situations were just being ignored for the sake of propaganda. I don't really know where else to go with that other than my eyes were just like wide open, to a lot of things that
Right.
they've been shut to before. Um, I think my ex-boyfriend was an independent out here, libertarian, and he stickered a federal building, and he got the feds like basically went after him and like broke into his house, took all of his like guns, took all of his computers and technology, and like when I'd go over to his house, like his door was still fucked up. So I don't know. I just like I saw a lot of injustice, and I pretty much was like, all right, I'm out. Like this is crazy. I've gotten, I've done my part. I've gotten people's voices out how I could. And then I kind of started to get into the regular streaming era with like chicken and stuff, and that's kind of how I got to where I'm at now.